What scares you the most? Maybe it's standing in front of a crowd, reaching for your dreams or saying what's really in your heart. No matter who you are, fear can feel like a locked door standing between you and the life you want. Here's a secret. Everyone has fears, even the people you admire most. Some let it stop them. Others grow bold enough to push through. You might think the best way to deal with fear is to avoid it. Maybe you distract yourself, pretend it doesn't exist, or try to drown it out with positive thinking. But you already know that doesn't always work. Fear finds a way to creep back in, louder and stronger. What if I told you that there's an unexpected way to overcome your deepest fears? It's not about ignoring them or trying to erase them from your mind. It's about facing them head on, but doing so in a way that actually works for real people, in real life. So, let's take a closer look together. Your fear isn't your enemy. In fact, it could be your greatest teacher, if you're willing to listen. Fear is universal. It's as natural as breathing. Everyone, from the bravest firefighter to the shyest student, knows what fear feels like. Sometimes it's a tightness in your chest. Other times, it's a voice whispering, "Don't do it. Stay safe." Most people try what they've been taught. Avoid the thing that scares you, distract yourself, or force positive thoughts. But here's the truth. These methods often just push fear deeper inside. When you try to push fear away, it only grows stronger behind the scenes. You might have heard advice to just get over it or fake it until you make it. Maybe you've told yourself that your fears are silly and should be ignored. But ignoring fear doesn't make it disappear. If anything, it makes it shout louder. The real problem is that many common solutions don't get to the root of fear. They treat fear like a weed to be chopped down, not a signal to be understood. That's why so many people find themselves stuck, time and again. Here's something you might not expect. Fear is not always your enemy. In fact, fear is there to protect you. It's your brain's way of saying, pay attention, something here could matter. Fear works like an alarm system. Sometimes it goes off for a good reason, like when you're near real danger. Think about it. If you're walking down a dark alley and your heart starts to race, that's your body keeping you alert. It's a system that's helped humans survive for thousands of years. Without fear, we'd walk into all sorts of trouble, but fear can also be a false alarm. Sometimes the system rings even when you're safe, like before a big meeting, or when you're about to speak up. The feeling is the same, but the threat isn't real. Instead of fighting fear, what if you treated it like a friend? What if you listened to what it's trying to say, and use that message to grow? Understanding that fear is a signal, not a stop sign, can open up a whole new way to live. Let's talk about what happens in your brain when fear hits. There's a small part, deep inside, called the amygdala. It's kind of like your body's alarm bell. The amygdala's job is to spot danger and get you ready to respond. When it goes off, your heart beats faster. Your palms get sweaty. You feel a wave of energy ready to run or fight. This is called the fight or flight response. It's automatic, and honestly, it happens to everyone, no matter how tough they look on the outside. Back in the day, this response helped our ancestors escape wild animals or dangerous situations. But here's the twist. In today's world, most of our fears aren't about lions or cliffs. They're about things like embarrassing ourselves or failing in front of others. The amygdala still reacts the same way, even if there's no real threat. Knowing this can help you understand that your fear isn't a sign of weakness. It's just your brain doing its job, sometimes a little too well. When you recognize this, you can start to work with your brain, not against it. In modern life, fear often pops up where it doesn't really belong. We get anxious before sending an email, speaking in public, or trying something new. The problem is, our brains can't always tell the difference between real danger and everyday challenges. Your body might react as if you're facing a wild animal, even when you're just giving a presentation. This is what we call a false alarm. There's no real threat, but your body feels like there is. That's why fear can feel so overwhelming and out of place sometimes. The world we live in moves fast. We face social pressure, deadlines, and expectations. All these things can set off the same alarm system, even if the stakes are actually pretty low. It's important to remember that feeling fear doesn't mean you're in danger. When you understand that your fear is a false alarm, you can choose how to respond. You don't have to run away. You can learn to stand your ground and even move forward, one step at a time. Here comes the unexpected part. Instead of avoiding fear, what if you leaned into it? What if you faced your fear, even just a little bit, instead of running away? This approach might sound scary, but honestly, it's incredibly powerful. Imagine you're terrified of public speaking. The usual trick is to avoid it, but that only makes the fear grow stronger. What if instead you started small, speaking up in a meeting, then talking in front of a few friends and slowly working your way up? Each small step teaches your brain that you can handle it. This method is called gradual exposure. It's used in psychology because it works. When you face your fear in small, manageable steps, your body learns there's nothing to be afraid of. Over time, the fear shrinks. You don't have to jump headfirst into your biggest fear. Start with the smallest challenge you can handle. Celebrate every step. With each success, you build strength, and the fear loses its power. Exposure. Therapy is a real psychological technique. Therapists use it to help people face fears, from phobias to anxiety. Over time, facing your fears, gently and repeatedly, changes your brain's response. The fear shrinks, and confidence grows. Here's another twist. Fear and excitement feel almost the same in your body. Your heart races, your palms sweat. The difference is in your mind. What if next time you're afraid, you told yourself, "I'm excited"? This simple shift can trick your brain into feeling energized instead of frozen. The benefits of this new approach are huge. First, you build real confidence, not the fake kind. Second, you actually change your brain. You become less reactive, more in control. Third, you unlock new opportunities because you're no longer held back by fear. This process isn't always easy. There will be tough days, you'll feel uncomfortable, maybe even want to quit, but every step forward, no matter how small, is a victory. Remember, leaning into fear is how you grow. Take that first step. You might just surprise yourself.